Hi, I'm Justin Zupanc, Compaction Product Manager here at Volvo Construction Equipment, and I'm here today to talk to you about some compaction basics. And I have two examples of machines behind me that are different types of compactors. They're designed for different applications, different materials. To my right is one of our double drum asphalt compactors. This machine has two steel drums as well as a water system, and it's typically going to be used for rolling sub-bases. It's going to be rolled for asphalt, and the water is going to be there to make sure the material doesn't stick to the drum. On my left-hand side, we have one of our large soil compactors, which it's a little bit of a different design. You have a single drum in the front and tires in the rear. And the reason for that machine is it's going to be used on more rough terrains. It's going to be used for clays and soils and gravels, but you need to make sure that you have that traction when it's available. Compaction, what is it? Why are we talking about these machines in general? And really what they're trying to accomplish is the removal of air voids within the material they're running on. You're trying to compress the material down, and you're trying to create as dense of a subsurface as possible to provide a smooth finish that you can either use to build on for whatever your final application is. As we start talking about some items that might impact compaction, two of the big ones are going to be amplitude and frequency. And what are we looking at with amplitude? Well, that's going to be your vertical movement of the drum and really your impacts when that drum is actually rolling over the surface. And that's accomplished by a weight that is rotating within the drum. And you can adjust that on different machines. We have some models that are two amplitudes where you have a high setting and a low setting. The high setting is going to be used for your thicker materials, your thicker lifts, as well as your low setting being used for your thinner lifts and maybe some more sensitive surfaces. Now, if we look at the other machines that are 8 amplitudes, which is going to give us the broadest selection of amplitudes in the industry, you can adjust from 1 all the way up to 8, where now your first setting is going to be similar to your low in 2 amplitude machine, but you're going to be able to adjust in between as well. Now, if we talk about frequency, frequency is going to be more so the time or the distance between your impacts. So as we go forward, we try to set an ideal impacts per foot of 10 to 14 impacts per foot on the machines. And we actually have settings and functions on the machine where they will help the operator to limit their speed so they maintain in that ideal zone. If you're going too fast, now you're going to have too few impacts per foot. And if you're going too slow, you're going to have too many impacts per foot. The end result is going to be a subsurface that's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be as smooth as what's desired. Another factor that you might be looking at is whether you're using a machine in a static or a vibratory mode. Static means that you're just using the down pressure, the gravity of the machine to generate additional force on the mat, but you're not adding anything additional over the weight of the machine. If you're using a machine in the vibratory function, that means that you're adding additional pressure from some other mechanical function, and that could be from the drums where you have that offset weight that rotates within the drum. And those settings are adjustable. To go for the highest amplitude setting, those weights are going to be in alignment. And now for your lowest setting, you're going to push those weights apart, and that will generate a low amount of force on the mat. One of the newer developments in compaction is intelligent compaction. And what that is really the deployment of sensors and technologies such as GPS to make the operator more efficient and meet specific job requirements. And at Volvo, we have a system that we call Compact Assist, which is using those systems and those sensors to display the information to the operator. And you can provide functionality such as temperature mapping, pass mapping, density mapping, and now display that in real time to the operator, as well as provide data outputs. So now if you have a job that's requiring that data to be turned in, you can submit that as needed. At Volvo Construction Equipment, we design all of our machines to have great maintenance and make sure that we really keep the end user in mind. And our SD115 that's parked behind me is no exception with that. We have all of our ground level access points such as diesel fill, DEF fill, as well as your engine oil fill and your filters right from the ground level. And this machine, as I walk back, you can start with your diesel fill here, ground level on the right-hand side, and towards the rear of the machine, indicated by the blue cap, we have our DEF fill for our engine emission system. And for any of those units that are equipped with a cab, we have complete filtration, and the filter can be accessed from the ground level as well on the right-hand side of the machine. As we look at our easy-to-access service features on our soil compactors, we'll start with the entrance point for the cab or the operator station, where we have at ground level, we have a lockable compartment for our battery disconnect, which is going to turn on or off all the machine power. And then we also have a nice feature where it's going to be a power raise and lower for your engine compartment hood. And as we walk back to the engine compartment, all the major service features are going to be accessible from the ground level. If we start here on the left, we have hydraulic test ports. Right above that, you have your hydraulic filter, engine air filter, water fuel separator, and then you have your engine oil dipstick right at the side. When we're talking about asphalt rollers, one of the key features is the water system. And for this machine, we're very proud of the system itself, and we have multiple features that are going to enable you to have as much uptime as possible. One of which is the large water capacity tanks we have at the front and the rear. And we also have primary and secondary spray bars that are going to be located on each drum with a windscreen off to the side. The primary bar can be run, or if you would have a clog or any type of potential damage, now you can switch over to the secondary bar and make sure you continue running without having to stop and perform maintenance. Another key feature is going to be the triple filtration that we have on our water system. The first filtration point is going to be for the water fill on the tanks, and that's indicated by your blue lid on the front and the rear. And as you open the tank, you'll have a filter screen right in the front. Your second filtration point is going to be located with your pumps. Right at the ground level, you have your primary and secondary pumps, one for each spray bar, and each of those pumps has a filter screen on it as well that can be easily removed and cleaned if needed. And your third point is going to be on your water spray nozzles. And if you go back to the drum, each nozzle is going to have its own independent filter screen inside of it that can be removed without tools and easily cleaned as needed. One key feature of all of our compaction products is they're proudly manufactured here in the US. From our engineering teams all the way through the fabrication and the rolling of the drum shells, everything's done at our Shippensburg, Pennsylvania facility. And if there's any questions that you need about product or compaction in general, please reach out to your local Volvo construction equipment dealer and they'll be glad to help you.